Hey Muggles! Welcome to Which Hogwarts House, the video series where I take the role of the Sorting Hat, examining characters from different franchises and deciding which Hogwarts house they will be placed in. Today, we will be diving into the head of Tenzin, the airbending mentor of Korra from Legend of Korra. First, we have the House of the Lion, who were known for bravery, courage, determination, and pride. But the house was also known for those who were headstrong, reckless, and short-tempered. Tenzin definitely has courage, but he was not reckless, even chiding Korra for her own hothead on several occasions.
The Avatar state is not to be used as a booster rocket. You are toying with a dangerous power that you obviously do not appreciate.
Compared to his family, whether that was his siblings or his own children, Tenzin was rather stoic and serious. He was not entirely detached or cold or without compassion, but he did not have the same fire or passion that was often attributed to Gryffindors. The Sorting Hat would consider Gryffindor, but it would move on to the other houses. Second, we have the home of the Badgers, who were known for hard work, patience, loyalty, and fair play, though they were a bit gullible for it. The mascot of Hufflepuff will be the main topic of discussion. Badgers are notorious for being seemingly weak and docile creatures, that is, until they attack. If one were to attack a badger or their families, they would retaliate with fierce tenacity. Oh hey, look, it's a gang of Gryffindors against a Hufflepuff. Just like the Badger, Tenzin is extremely protective of his loved ones. Not only are they his family, but many of them are the last airbenders for half of the series. When his daughter was kidnapped by Unalaq, Tenzin made it his mission to get her back, even if that meant a full invasion that could start a civil war. And when Zaheer and the Red Lotus attacked his family and students at the Northern Air Temple, he fought them off until he was overwhelmed. But Tenzin is not as accepting as some Hufflepuffs are, especially when it comes to his airbending curriculum. While Hufflepuffs would generally be inclusive of any type of learning, Tenzin was focused on one way of doing things, which made him butt heads with Korra and the younger generation, which would lead the Sorting Hat to the next house. Ravenclaw, known for their wit, learning, and wisdom, but they were also known for being shifty when in competition and a tad bit aloof with their intellect. Learning and wisdom is almost the epitome of Tenzin. As the chief vessel for airbending culture and literature, Tenzin became the bookworm for airbenders, almost by necessity. In fact, he was a bit of a slave to rules and tradition, only able to teach airbending in one way to Korra, even though she wanted to learn the more modern and mixed versions of bending in Republic City. In a way, the Airbending Temple Island is a bit of a metaphor for Tenzin's mentality, while Republic City is teeming with innovation, a melting pot of fire, earth, and waterbenders. Tenzin isolates himself on an island where he is keeping to his closed-minded mentality.
What do you say we go to the arena tonight? Catch a few pro bending matches.
That sport is a mockery of the noble tradition of bending.
His focus on traditional aspects of airbending training even hindered him with regards to his connection to his spirits and his inability to fly like Zaheer. Granted, Tenzin was limited mostly by his earthly tethers, but even without them, it is unlikely he would achieve flight because it was never written or achieved by anyone before him. Think Jocasta Nu from Attack of the Clones.
If an item does not appear in our records, it does not exist.
The Sorting Hat was certainly mull over the choice of Ravenclaw for a time, before moving on to the final house. House Slytherin was proud, ambitious, cunning, but at the fault of being self-obsessive and conservative with regards to blood purity. Tenzin does not align with the Slytherin traits of ambition and cunning. He is not exactly an out-of-the-box thinker, and he never sought out power or advantage for its own sake. But I would argue that he does have an interest in conserving his bloodline, but for very different reasons than a Slytherin does. While Tenzin might want to preserve his family line because he is one of the very last airbenders, a Slytherin would do it just to further themselves. The Sorting Hat would quickly count Slytherin out as a possibility. Tenzin's calm demeanor and peaceful airbending principles would not jive with Slytherin types, and he would not flourish under its house. And though Tenzin could get a little impatient and hot-headed with Korra, he does not have the sensibilities of a Gryffindor lion. Though as a side note, it would be his third strongest house alignment because of his general sense of courage. For me, the final decision falls between Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw, and the deciding factor comes between his badger mentality of defending his family or his slavish mentality to airbending traditions. The issue I have with this is that Tenzin does not align with either negative quality of the house. Hufflepuffs are a bit gullible, and Ravenclaws can be a bit too competitive with their quest for knowledge. Tenzin is neither of these things, so my decision would fall between the primary aspects of each house. Is Tenzin more about fair play and honesty, or is he more about wit beyond measure, being man's greatest treasure? And with that, I believe he would do best in Ravenclaw. He would appreciate and thrive with others who take their studies seriously. If he had lived during Aang's childhood with the other air nomads, he would have been a student who was always found reading a scroll or two. Tenzin, to his own detriment, lives and dies by the book, the words of masters that came before him.
You've mastered Korra-style airbending. Now you need to master real airbending.
After only a few minutes, the Sorting Hat would shout, "Ravenclaw!" Of course, this is all my opinion, based on the lore of Harry Potter and Avatar. Do you agree that Tenzin would be sorted into Ravenclaw, or do you think he would be placed in a different house? Let me know in the comments below, or vote for the house that you think Tenzin would be placed in the top right corner. And as always, peace, love, and remember, be water, my friends.